Hello everyone, this is PCB, your trusted PCB partner. Today, we'll be introducing how to create your own KICD project template. The project template we're talking about here is different from the schematic template mentioned in previous projects. This template can include a complete project with both schematic and PCB files. Not only can you preset component networks in the schematic, but you can also set commonly used design rules. So, what exactly is a project template? In KICD, you can create custom project templates, which include a project along with the schematics and PCB used in that project. Now, in the default KICD interface, click on File, then select a new project from Templates. At this point, you will be able to see the system's built-in project template. Here, we can see that there are many commonly used project templates. And there's also a section for user templates. Since I haven't created any myself, it's empty, but we can take note of the path for user template. Let's select one to open and take a look. Let's choose a Raspberry Pi template. There are also commonly used STM32 templates in here. We select a Raspberry Pi template and open it. Here there will be a brief introduction when you select it. You'll see a simple description explaining that this is a Raspberry Pi template, which boards it supports, some additional information, and also an image. So this is the introduction to a project template. Let's click OK. Next, we need to use this project template to create a new project. When creating a new project, we'll need to save it. I've already created a folder for the RPI project, so just save it here, then name the project RPI as well, and click Save. At this point, a new project using this project template has been created. Now, let's take a look at what's inside this project template. Here, we can see that it already includes a schematic and a PCB. Let's open them up and take a look. Let's look at the schematic first. From the schematic, we can see that the connector for the Raspberry Pi 4 has already been drawn, and the commonly used net names are also labeled. There's also a storage chip here, which has already been drawn as well. These are the basic essential components commonly used on a Raspberry Pi board. There are also some notes here, so if you often work on projects using the Raspberry Pi, you can have this drawn up in advance. That way, you don't have to redraw it every time, just import it from the template, and you have all the basic components ready to go. He has drawn the simplest version, but if you have some standard power supplies, for example, if most of your projects use a certain type of power supply, like a 12V to 5V converter, you can also include that power circuit here. This way, whenever you start a new project, you won't have to redraw these parts each time. Let's also take a look at what it looks like in the PCB view. We can also see the PCB file where the Raspberry Pi has already been placed. This makes things very convenient for us. The footprint is already prepared and positioned. We just need to add our own components based on this layout. This way, it becomes very convenient every time we use it, especially if you're always working with a certain series of chips. You can make it into a project template, so you don't have to redraw your commonly used parts, just import them directly each time. So how do you create your own template? First, let's take a look at the structure of a template. In the folder, this is the path to the system templates. Here, you can see there are many pre-made project templates. The one we just opened is right here, so let's go in and take a look. You'll notice it has a mat folder. Then there's the PCB file, the project file, and the schematic file, so 3 files in one folder. Next, let's take a look at what's inside the folder. The first item in the folder is an image, and the second is an icon. As we just saw, the project selection panel displays this icon. And then this one is a description file in HTML format. We can take a look at it. This is the file we just saw, the one introduced in the project template interface. You can modify it according to your own needs, but make sure to edit it in accordance with the HTML file format. Next, when we want to create something, we also need to create a new folder. Let's check where our folder is located. Here is a configuration that's look at the user's project path. It's right here. We can choose this one, or we can create a new one and just modify this part. Let's create a new one, actually. I won't create a new one. I'll just restore this system folder. This folder currently doesn't have any projects or templates, so we'll create a template. This time it should be stable template. Next, we need to create this meta folder. To save time, I won't create the files from scratch. I'll just copy it over. That way I have the folder ready. I can replace these two images and just modify the content inside this HTML file. After that, we can save the project files here, that is, save these project files into this location. I'm also just copying it directly for convenience. Ideally, I should create a new one, but since I'm too slow at making new ones, I'll just use the same one and copy it over. In reality, you would draw a new image and then import it here. And with that, we have our own template file ready. So let's take a closer look. We will open it again, create a brand new project from the provided template, and then carefully select. You see, this is the complete set of templates we meticulously copied over. We can easily modify the content, the various images, and the company logo, all according to our very own specific needs. The steps above may seem a bit complicated, but to sum up, it's actually very simple. Create a template folder and configure the template path. Then create a project template that includes the schematic and PCB basically. Save a minimal project file you've already prepared, and then modify the UI defined in the meta folder, which is the HTML file. All right, that's all for today's content. Thank you, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel for more videos.